This is Moto Ikebana, and I'm Brenda Baird, and this is our April lesson. Today we're going to focus on the cultural feature of chigirie. And chigirie is the art of torn paper collage. It really kind of looks a lot like a watercolor picture, but it's all done with paper and torn paper. Now, chigirie got its start in 794 AD through to the Heian period in Japan. And they used to take beautiful washi paper that they would print, and then the court nobles or a calligrapher would write poetry or a story or whatever on top of that paper, and the court nobles and people would exchange these beautiful pieces of art which had lovely writing on it. So let me just grab this, and I'll hand this around so you can pass it around to everyone. So the paper itself can be made out of the gampi tree, which I'd never heard of a gampi tree, G-A-M-P-I, or mulberry, which is called mitsumata. And mitsu means three, so it's a branch that comes off in three sections. And we've used mitsumata before, especially when the bark's peeled and it's been bleached and it's really white. It looks just beautiful. But they use the fibers to make the paper, as well hemp or rice or other different plants. So it's not just, washi paper is not just made out of the mulberry, but can be. And here's just some examples of some of the paper. Can be flecked with gold or metallics or silver, and you can see all the shades kind of in the paper. It's very subtle and very soft and kind of just really beautiful. And then there's different kinds of paper here that is almost lace-like with the fibers, with leaves in it. And here's a beautiful one with fibers as well, which you can see coming through, that just give you different textures and forms. Now, the other word I want you to learn about is a shikishi. And a shikishi are these boards that you put the chigirie on. Now, chigirie doesn't have to be placed on a shikishi, but traditionally, I think today, mostly you do chigirie. You can put it on a postcard or you can put it on a board, but these boards are just perfectly made for the art of chigirie. Now, the one that I had that's different than the chigirie is one that is cut paper. It's not torn and it's not fuzzy on the edge. It's very clear and concise, and it's a design. This is a samurai with this little Momo peach banner, little samurai boy, probably for Boys' Day. But you can see it's all cut pieces of paper. And I'll hand that around. I'm not going to pass these around because these are on loan to me from a friend, and I want to thank Barb Kitko, my dear friend. We were in the earthquake together in 1995 in Japan, in Kobe, and a friend made all of these for her as a gift. And you can see that sometimes people do, this is the one I have, chigirie with a hanko or a stamp, stamped right on it with a signature. But these are actually signed, and I'll just very carefully pick this one up. You can see where this is a piece of red paper that's been cut, and then a cord or a thread looped around to make the signature. So this is the signed piece by the artist. Now, these are metallic or flecked metal on the back with gold or silver, and then they're a solid color on the front, and they can come in different colors for the background. They can come, you can see, we've got green and black and blue and all the different colors that they come in. But shikishis can be used for a number of different crafts, like sumie, which is the art of ink, black ink on a paper or on a scroll or on these shikishis. As well, these boards have become popular for people to use as autograph boards for a special occasion, like maybe even a wedding or a special anniversary, or someone's leaving a company or moving and you want to give everybody an autographed paper, you can give them a shikishi as a gift. But these are all just really good examples of spring shikishis. Now I really wanted one that had a cherry blossom sakura scene, but I couldn't come up with one, so this is just an autumn scene. It's beautiful with the torn paper, with the chigirie. But you can see that you can do all kinds of different designs with the chigirie. All right, so that's our cultural feature for today. Today is just one, and next year I'll do two. So that's good. Yeah, thank you. That's just like April design. This is called kakubana. Kakubana is classical upright form, and in this form we're using the pussy willow to represent our heaven line or our tie, and then the next strongest line is the man line. We're made in God's image, but we're not God. And then we're doing one that's called helping heaven line, and if I move this over between the two, if you measure this one and then you put the man in, to get this height you stand it up upside down, and then you look at it, eyeball it, and then give it a cut so that it's in between these two heights. And you'll look on your, for those of you who are in the class, look on your drawing and you'll see where I've drawn a kenzan with a bird's eye view, and you're actually going to put everything in a row in the center, and you're going to start with the pussy willow, the heaven line, 3/4 of the way back in the middle of the kenzan, right in the middle. So if you form a cross in the kenzan, you're going to put it right in the middle of the cross. And then you're going to put the man in front, and you're going to put the helping heaven in the back behind it. Then everything is really going to radiate out. And I'll turn this around so that you can see all of the rays in just a minute. But the next item we're going to put in are the purple laetris. And you'll have two larger laetris, and you're going to examine them. And the one that you think is strongest, biggest, you put it the highest. So you'll put those two in about 2 inches apart, and this should be half the height of the heaven line. Then you're going to place in the one in the back. So you still want to see all the beautiful color, but you're going to put it in toward the back, and it can be to the right or the left side of the heaven line, and it's there to give depth, and you're still going to make it so it makes rays, as if it's just bowing humbly forward all the way to the front. If you have on your laetris a lot of little buds or little green leaves at the bottom, you want to strip off anything and clean up the end of your stem about 2 inches so that there is nothing, in the water, that keeps the water very clean and clear. The next thing you're going to put in are your low alströmerias, and you'll find that they have lots of green leaves, and sometimes they can be a little wild and crazy, and so you can cut out any extra or excess green leaves that are bent, or maybe they're drooping, or they just don't look too good, and you can cut those out, because we're going to use after that the salal foliage to fill in with the greenery. But the height of these, so we have heaven, we have man, we have helping heaven, and then we have these three that are the earth here. So they are the fuku, and then this is the tome, which is the fourth, a fourth of heaven. It's the lowest part of the earth. It's still the earth, but it has a different name because it sits low in the design. So it sits at a fourth. So if this is half, then this is the fourth. And then the last thing is you analyze all of your salal foliage, and if it wants to go right, well then let it go right. If it wants to go left, let it go left. Analyze all your leaves first before you start putting them in, because you want to have one that comes out towards the front, one that comes out on the side, and one that comes in the back. And if you have an extra one or two, you may want to put them flat up against all of the rays of the linear materials, so that it looks nice all the way around. So I'm going to turn this so that you can see that everything, it starts from the back and goes this way. We just have rays of things just going forward and backward. So that is our design for this month. Ikebana, classical design for spring. You can actually take the stems. Pussy willows are very forgiving. Willow is very forgiving. So you can take it and just breathe on it and use your thumb and forefinger to press and bend the stem so that you get a nice curved shape. What you really want to happen is you want to have the water drip line come down from the center, and it'll curve up this way, and then it'll have like if there was a plumb line, it would go back down into the kenzon, if that makes any sense. And then this will do the same thing. The helping heaven line starts out in a similar way to heaven, but it comes to the right of it, and man comes to the left. But you can take this whole design and completely reverse it and do it the opposite way. And if you need to look at your drawing that way, just hold it up to the light and you'll see the reverse. And then we're going to put that right in here.
That's better.
That's beautiful. And then we're going to bring this forward, and we're going to strip off again some of these so that there isn't anything to cause bacteria in the water. We want to keep the water nice and clean. So, and I'm going to give it a cut at an angle like that, so it'll draw up more water. And then put that in here like this. And then this one goes in the back to give depth.